What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to Unparalleled Universe for another action figure review, and today we'll be taking a look at the brand new 112 Collective Ascending Knight Batman figure. And this one here is the Mezco.com exclusive direct version, and it's pretty cool because they started to ship this figure around May 1st, which is known as Batman Day. The same day they kind of had a bunch of other cool reveals and some really awesome stuff. So it's really cool that Mezco planned it like that and that it worked out that way. But anyways, let's get right into the figure, starting with the box here. And I really like this box. I like that it's smaller than the standard Mezco figures, and I really think that they should go this way with all of their boxes. I'm tired of the big huge box that they come with because they look really nice and I always feel bad throwing them away. But anyways, this box is awesome. I love how simple it looks with the bat logo in the middle, and then you have the Mezco exclusive sticker here on top, and then you have the regular stuff, 112 Collective, Ascending Knight, Batman, all that cool stuff. And then on the side you have a Batman logo that looks pretty nice. Again, it's all really simple. And then on the back you have some really awesome looking artwork, and we've seen this picture before, like in the promos, and I don't know if this is like a stylized photo of the figure itself or if it's like actual done artwork, but either way it looks really cool. And yeah, like I said, I'm just a big fan of this box, so I really wish that Mezco would start using the smaller boxes for the general releases. But let's get into the figure here. So for the articulation on this guy, everything's really good. It's pretty much the standard Mezco articulation. So his head is able to move side to side. His neck is a little thick, so it's kind of tight moving it, but he does have some tilt to it. And let's see how far he could look up. He could look up to about there. Can't really look up too high, actually. And then he could bring his head down to about there. And then of course you have the standard Mezco torso, where you have the mid torso joint and then the waist joint, and they kind of work together, so you can move them side to side like that. You can, oh, look at that, he has a really nice crunch to him. Check that out. That's the first time I tried to bend it like that. I wasn't expecting it to go that deep, but that looks good. And then you could get it to go all the way back to about there. So the torso articulation is really nice. Oh shoot, gotta be careful there. But yeah, using both of those joints you get some really nice torso articulation. Like I said, you got side to side, and then you could twist right at the mid torso. Yeah, working together those two joints work really nice. Yeah, I'm really surprised at how good that ab crunch is, so that's really nice. And then for his arms, he has the ball jointed shoulders. It does feel like he kind of has the butterfly, the Mezco butterfly type of joint, but it doesn't get too much movement. Sorry, it's kind of hard to see because all the black and the cape and stuff, but yeah, check that out. There's a little bit of movement with that shoulder butterfly kind of joint, and you could definitely feel it in there, so it's definitely moving. And then his arms can come up to, let's see, to about there before you kind of start stretching the material, so be very careful there. And then it comes back pretty much the same amount. And then his arms can come out to the side, and then you have the upper bicep swivel, you have the double jointed elbows, you have a swivel at the wrist and a hinge at the wrist. And for his legs, they could come all the way out to the side. You could pretty much get him to do the splits, and it could go back to about there. He could only kick forward to about there. And I kind of start getting worried about the material in here. And then he has the upper thigh swivel, double jointed knees, no swivel at the boot, but he does have a swivel at the foot. And then let's see how his ankles work here. You got to kind of move them around to get like the maximum amount of movement, but after you kind of work with them, you could get his feet to go forward to about there, come up to about there, and then they do rock a pretty nice amount. Check that out. So all the articulation on Batman is really good. Like I said, I'm very surprised with the torso joint, so hopefully they do that on figures going forward too, because that's really nice. So pretty good articulation on this guy. And for his accessories, he comes with the usual Mezco stuff, as well as some other things that I kind of think are a little bit overboard, but they're still pretty cool. But let's get right into it, starting with the hands. First off, he comes with a pair of fists, and then he has a pair of gripping hands, and then he has a pair of kind of open dramatic hands. And then he has a single right trigger finger for his right side. And his trigger finger hand can be used to hold on to his grappling gun. And it can also be used to hold on to his mini handheld dart gun. And here's a closer look at the grappling gun. And man, this thing looks nice. I really love the way that the gold and black looks. You have a little bit of silver on the handle here, but yeah, check it out. It looks really cool. It definitely matches the figure since he has the gold belt and everything. And the thing that's really cool about this is it comes with 3 different grappling hook accessories. You have this one here that shows the the arms of the hook itself kind of extended, like as if it's like ready to shoot. And then you have this one here that has the arms kind of retracted. And this one, you got to kind of be careful putting it in there, but you know, it looks like they're collapsed, and that looks really nice. And then for the third one, you have a grappling hook that actually has a string on it, and there is a little plug that you could use to stick into the barrel of the grappling gun here. Give me 1 second. It's all kind of small to work with, but let's see, there you go. You could stick it in there, and then you have an actual, you know, grappling hook with the string on it. And that's kind of cool, but you know, this is obviously not going to support the weight of the figure if you try to hang it from it, so be careful. And of course, it's not really going to stay plugged into the gun. It comes out really easy, but it's a very cool idea, and I'm sure it'll work for some nice pictures and things like that. And then now onto this little gun. I'm sure it has a name or something, but I just don't know what it is. I'm not sure what hardcore Batman fans would call this thing, but it's like a little, you know, like a handheld little dart thing. And yeah, it looks really nice, and I love the fact that they put like gold tips on the little darts here. It looks really, really cool. Other than that, it's pretty basic. It's pretty soft plastic, so I don't feel like it's going to snap or anything. Sometimes Mezco accessories feel kind of brittle, like they could break, but this doesn't feel like that at all. So I'm very happy with this thing. I think it looks very cool. Then last but not least, he has this thing, and this is cool. It's articulated. He can hold on to it. I like the gold trim along with the... It's not quite black. It's not as black as like the rest of the accessories, as you could see here. It's more like a gray color or like a metal color. And I'm not 100% sure what this is, but it kind of feels like it's maybe like a thing he could grip onto and like, you know, zip down a zip line or something like that. I think that kind of makes sense. But it is cool, and check that out. I like the fact that it's articulated. I probably won't be using this thing too much, but I think it's a pretty cool thing that they included here with Batman. And I think pretty much the only way to get him to hold this is using the open dramatic hands and just kind of sticking his fingers through the grips there. He's definitely able to hold on to it, but then you can't really get it to fold out. It's like folding towards him. But yeah, like I said, this is kind of a crazy accessory, but it's a pretty interesting one. I'm not really sure how you would use it in pictures or anything, but it's a pretty cool and unique thing that they included. Now, when I mentioned that some of the accessories were overboard, I was referring to the batarangs, because they are very cool, but he comes with 10 of them, and there's not really anywhere to put them on the figure itself, so they're just gonna kind of be hanging around. They're really small, so I'm kind of worried that I'll lose them. I'm probably just going to leave them in the box. But they are really cool. I just feel like, damn, why'd they include so many of them, you know? But I kind of like what they did better with some other Batman figures, where they had the batarangs kind of already attached to the hand and then just a couple extra ones. I think that works better rather than just giving him 10 of these little things. But, you know, I'm kind of complaining that they included too much of something. So what kind of complaint is that, you know? I get it. But just kind of crazy that they threw 10 of these in there. And then he comes with two different heads, the first one being the regular masked head with the exaggerated bat ears, and then he comes with an unmasked Bruce Wayne head. And then it comes with the instantly scratchable Mezco stand, which I always like these stands, but it's so frustrating how easily they get scratched. But this one does look nice. It has the same design as the front of the box. It's all black with the gold bat symbol here in the center, and then you have the peg. You can use the arm to pop the peg out. This one came out really easy. You stick the arm in there. You have an articulated arm to pose your figure on. And here's a look at him on the posing arm. And then here's a look at him just standing on the stand. And then of course he comes with this typical Mezco cape setup. And I really hate to sound negative in this review, because you guys know how much of a fan of Mezco I am. But I really dislike this cape setup. I think that it doesn't really work, and it's very awkward, and it's tedious. It's a hassle to put together. It risks messing up your cape because you have to get it into these clips here. I'll admit the clips on here are a little bit softer, so they do move, but still, I still don't want to hassle with this thing. I still think it's a pain. I much prefer, like, you know, a cape with wires in it or something. And honestly, I know it might be asking for much. I mean, it might be asking for a little too much, but I kind of think that they could come up with like an interchangeable cape kind of deal, because it is awesome to be able to have the cape just kind of draped down without wires in it. But it would be cool to have wires in the cape so that you could pose the wire. And, you know, these are really expensive figures, so you would think that they could I feel like they could come up with something, you know? I don't know. Maybe I'm just kind of being greedy. But anyways, I really don't like this cape setup. I'm not going to put it onto the figure right now. I've done it a lot of times in the past, so I'll leave a couple links in the description below so you could go to some other Mezco reviews that have capes, and I show you how this whole thing works. But I just don't want to do it on the Batman figure here. And now for some size comparisons, here he is next to the Mezco Old Man Logan and the Marvel Legends Sasquatch Wave Deadpool. And then now here we have him next to the Marvel Legends Pizza Spider-Man and Marvel Legends Ultimate Spider-Man. And then here he is with the Marvel Legends Black Panther and the Marvel Legends Wonder Man. And now here goes the Mezco Dark Knight Returns Batman and the Mezco Joker. And then now here he is with the Mezco Superman and the Mezco Nightmare Batman. As most of you might know, there's 3 different versions of this figure, and this is the Mezco.com direct exclusive version. And then there's also the gray version, which is the standard release, and that one's pretty easy to get. You could pretty much get it for like the retail price, which is like 80 bucks. It's about that much on eBay right now. And then there's the Toy Fair exclusive version, which is all black, and that's pretty much the only difference between the Mezco direct version and the Toy Fair version. It has the black belt versus the gold belt. But I personally think the all black one is the coolest, but I'm very happy to have this Mezco direct one. I have no complaints. I just think the all black looks really cool. And for me personally, I just couldn't get into the gray one. I couldn't get myself to buy it. I thought it looked decent, but I just couldn't pull the trigger on it. I might get it eventually, but for now I'm just gonna hold off on it. But yeah, this is the only version I have, and I do plan on picking up the previews exclusive version that looks really cool. It's in blue. It still has the gray, and I'm not a big fan of how the pattern looks on the gray, but I think it does look cool with the blue. And honestly, if the standard version came with purple gloves, that might have been enough for me to buy it. Then I think it would have looked pretty cool altogether, and I think it would have kind of like embrace the goofiness of the whole thing, you know. But I don't know, the standard gray version just wasn't for me for now. But I'm really happy to have this Mezco direct version, and because I don't have all 3, I had to outsource these pictures here, and these pictures came from my boy Emmanuel Page on Facebook. He's an awesome dude. He's a great action figure photographer, so huge shout out to him for letting me get these pictures. I really appreciate it, man. Thanks a lot. And now let's take a closer look at the figure itself. And the figure looks really, really nice, but he's mostly black, so it's kind of hard to see all the details here on camera, but I do like the way the black looks. It makes Batman look really intimidating, which is always dope. And I do like the way that the pattern kind of turned out on here. I think it looks a lot better here in black than it does on the gray version. I haven't seen the gray version in hand, but just from what I've seen, it was really unappealing to me. I think the pattern here works a lot better, and it definitely breaks up any kind of areas that might look like pajamas. You know how people always say that about Mezco figures, that it kind of looks like pajamas, but I think the way the pattern works here, it prevents that from happening. So that's awesome. And then also, you know, have it kind of spread out doesn't make it feel like he's covered in this weird leathery stuff, you know. But yeah, check it out. I think the pattern looks really cool, and it's kind of mixed up all the way through the figure. And then you have the boots here, and the boots really remind me of like a wrestler's boots, but there's nothing wrong with that. I think they're very well done. Got some laces going up all the way to the top there, and yeah, I think it looks really cool. And then for the gloves here, you have some nice sculpt work. Again, I'm sorry because the figure's so dark, it's kind of hard to see, but the sculpting work is good on here. You can see like the knuckles are silver. Kind of would have made sense if they were gold. And that's another thing. I think it would have been kind of cool if they made the bat symbol gold, only just to kind of make it match with the belt and kind of break it up a little bit more. Like I said, I do like the figure being, you know, for the most part black, and I like the all black version the best, but I do think it would have been cool for this Mezco direct version to have like a gold, some kind of gold work here on the bat symbol. It would have really kind of paid homage to the Michael Keaton Batman, or, you know, the 89 Batman. That would have been cool. But yeah, look at it. I think this thing looks awesome. The cape is pretty cool too. It's a nice quality cape. For me, mine is kind of wrinkled in the back. I'm kind of hoping that it'll kind of just fall into place and look better, but it's a little bit wrinkled in the back from being in the packaging, but it's no big deal. It does look nice. It's like a leathery kind of material like usual. On the inside, it doesn't really have the leathery kind of stuff, but it does fold nice. I like to kind of fold it over his shoulders here and just have him like that. And then let's see what else we got here. On the back of the belt here, you have the holster for the grappling gun, and that works out good. It fits in there really easy, comes in and out really easy, so that's very nice, and it looks really cool. And again, with the belt, I like all the different kind of pouches and different little compartments that you have here. And yeah, look at that. It looks really cool. But the belt does definitely stand out against the all black figure. So, and also, if anyone's interested, and if you really wanted to, you could pop this belt off, you know, for whatever reason, if you want to throw an all black belt on there. I think it kind of looks cool without it too, so I don't know, that's just an option if anyone's interested in that. Pops right off really easy. and then you could put it back on really easy. So it's no big deal. You could paint this black, and then you pretty much have the Toy Fair version, right? So whatever you want to do. But yeah, he's a very cool looking figure. All the details look nice, and like I said, I think the pattern looks really good on him versus some of the other versions. And then for his face sculpt, I think they did a really amazing job. I really love the facial expression, and I actually really like the way the nose looks. For some reason, that kind of stood out to me as looking really nice. And then you have, of course, the exaggerated bat ears that look really good. Definitely screams like classic Batman. I mean, old school Batman. Not really classic Batman, but you know, just like old school Batman. So yeah, I really love this face sculpt a lot. And then for the Bruce Wayne head sculpt, I think they did a really nice job too. The only thing is it kind of sits low and it makes his neck look big. And that's just kind of the way it is, but it's not a huge flaw or anything. The face sculpt definitely looks really nice. It screams Bruce Wayne to me. And one thing that's pretty cool about this is sometimes with Mezco figures, which is like with the regular plain head sculpts, it kind of has like a waxy look to it. That doesn't seem to be the case here. It kind of looks more just, you know, just like a regular kind of person. It doesn't look like it doesn't have like a weird effect to it, you know. So I think it looks really good. I think this is probably one of their best like unmasked head sculpts. And in case anyone's curious, you can switch the heads on the Nightmare Batman and the Ascending Night Batman. And I saw someone do this on Facebook, and I think it looks awesome. It's really cool to have like a comic book version of Nightmare Batman, because I have seen some panels or something where he shows up like this. So I think this looks awesome. This doesn't look so cool. I mean, it looks fine, but you know, I'd never display it like that. But this, I mean, I might display it like this. I think that looks really cool. So overall, I really love this figure. I think that Mezco did an amazing job once again. They always kill it with the Batman figures. I think they make the best Batman figures out there in this scale. But yeah, this one, he's awesome. I'm so happy to have him. I do plan on getting the standard release eventually. Hopefully he'll drop in price and stuff like that. It's not like he's crazy expensive now, but I don't know. I just can't get myself to pull the trigger on him for full price. So we'll see. We'll see later on down the road. I do plan on picking up the PX version, so maybe that'll give me a better feel of how the gray looks with the funny pattern on it. But like I said before, I think the pattern looks really good on him. I do wish that I had the Toy Fair version, but you know, I'm not going to cry over it. That was a really exclusive kind of rare thing, and it's awesome for some people that have it, but you know, I don't. But it's okay. This one I think satisfies you know, the need for the black Ascending Night Batman. I think that he pretty much does the job, and if I really want to, I'll throw a black belt on him, and then that'll be that, you know. But the one thing I still am not crazy about is that stupid cape accessory. I hate to be negative about it once again, but I think that thing sucks. That's only, you know, my only gripe probably with the whole package here. But yeah, other than that, I love this figure. I'm super happy to have him, and I think that's it. So thank you very much for watching. Please be sure to like, comment, subscribe, and all that cool stuff, and thank you very much. Peace.
Crispy.